Hey there, John Chorby here from ReallyEasyGuitarLessons.com, and in this video lesson, I'm going to show you how to play the intro to the Office theme song for guitar. I'm actually going to walk you through 3 different levels of this, and it's specifically designed for the beginner guitar player. So, if you're like me, The Office is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and it's also very special to me because I was actually born and raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And so for anybody that lives in Scranton, we all kind of, really take to The Office because they were, they were so good to the people of the community and, making the show special and bringing out some cool little Easter eggs for those that live there. And one of the coolest Easter eggs, little fun, little useless piece of trivia for you. There's an episode where Pam Beesly goes back to high school, and the high school that she went to is also the high school that I went to. So I technically went to high school with Pam Beesly, and that is something that impresses my students that are fans of the show. So do with that useless knowledge as you will. We're going to get to showing you how to play this here in a second. So again, I'm going to walk you through this in 3 different levels. The first one is I'm going to show you how to play this all on one string, okay? So to keep it really just streamlined and easy, I'm going to show you how to play the theme song on one string. Then I'm going to show you how to play it in the open position, which might end up being a little bit easier than the first way, but it's just an alternate way to do it. And then in the third level, I'm going to show you 2 scale positions and then how to play the theme song within the scale positions. And I'm going to give you an extra level of education here because we're going to do a little bit of ear training so that you understand that the melody that you're hearing, and this is applicable to all melodies that you're ever going to learn on guitar, that if you learn a little bit of the music theory terminology and learn how to train your ear to hear these pitches, it makes it a whole lot easier to learn a bunch of different stuff on guitar. So with that said, let's jump in and get started. All right, let me demonstrate the first level of this. It's going to be the Office theme all on one string. All right, that's how the first level goes. Now let's break that down into small little chunks. So first chunk is the big slide. We're going from the third, so everything's gonna be on the E string. We're playing everything on the E string. I'm playing everything with downstrokes. I'm not gonna be too much of a finger stickler here. I don't really care what fingers you use. There is some situations where, I think there's some, best choices, but feel free to play around as long as it feels comfortable. That's all we really care about, and it sounds good. So we're starting on the 3rd fret of the E string, and we're going to climb all the way up to the 15th fret of the E string. So if you have trouble locating the 15th fret, if your guitar's got some dots on it, the double dot is the 12th fret, and the single dot after the double dot, that's the 15th fret, okay? So we're going from the first dot here to the first dot after the double dot here, 3 to 15. Okay, and then this next part sounds like this. And that's 14, 15, 14, 10, 12. So I'm using just these 2 fingers, my index and my middle. But you could just as easily just move your index around if you wanted to. Then the next part sounds like this. So that's the 8th fret of the E string. And notice what I'm doing here is after I play the note, I kill the sound of it. So I'm not letting it ring out like that. And so in order to achieve that, you just simply take the pressure out of the string with your fretting hand, but keep your finger touching the string. And then with your picking hand, just use like your pick or your finger to just touch the string and stop it from vibrating. So every time I play it, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it 3 times. Then I'm gonna do 7, 5, 7, and then I'm gonna land on 3, and that's just gonna start the whole thing again. So first part. Second part, 14, 15, 14, 10, 12, 8, 8, 8, 7, 5, 7, 3. And then this, you do the exact same thing the second time. It's just the melody changes right here, which is 14, 15, 17, 14, 12. And then another little alteration here, I'm going to do 10, 12, 10 to 7, and then the same ending as before, 8, 8, 8, 7, 5, 7, 3. So that second part. And then you just simply put both of those things back to back and play the whole thing twice. So you do the first part. Second part. And then you do that whole thing twice, and that is it. All right, in the second level, we're now gonna do this in the open position, and we're gonna use multiple strings. It's gonna look and sound like this. As you can hear, it's the same melody, it's just a little bit lower in pitch. It's down in a different register. And again, you might find it might be a little bit easier to play here because you don't have to jump all around the neck. But the notes are the same. So let's break it down. So that first opening thing where you have the big jump in the melody, open G string to now the third fret of the E. I'm going to use my middle finger on that note. Again, I'm going to do pretty much all downstrokes here. If I do some upstrokes, it's just because it's just how I'm accustomed to playing, but feel free to use all downs. It won't make a huge difference here. Open G, third fret of the E string is the start it, and then the next melody, it's gonna be 2, 3, 2 on the E string, 3 of the B, and then open E. So I'm using my index and middle on the E string, my middle on the B string, and then the open E. And then the next part, first fret of the B string. Again, we're doing that idea of a kind of a staccato note where it's dying right after we hit it. So I do that 3 times. Then open B, second fret G with the middle finger, open B again, and then it's gonna end on open G, which is the start of the next part. And on the next part, again, starts the same, open G, third fret E, this time 2, 3, 5, 2, open. And so, yeah, I do a shift here. You can use your pinky finger if you want to. It's more economical. But if you want to just slide a finger down, totally cool too. 2, 3, 5, 2, open. And then on the B string, this next melody, 3, 5, 3, open on the B string. I'm using my index and ring for this one. First fret, same ending as before. And then just like with the first level, you do those two parts together and you do the whole thing twice. So now let me show you how to play the melody with some scales. And this is gonna be useful for, one, making scales be useful, not just playing scales for the sake of playing scales, which you don't want to do. I mean, you do want to do it in order to know what the patterns are, but as soon as you learn a pattern, you have to understand how to use it. And this little practice, like here, taking a melody and then putting it in the context of a scale, is useful for making scales make sense, but then also it's really useful for training your ear, okay? So first, let me show you the scale. So this is in the key of G major. And so let me show you one way to play a G major scale. So on the 3rd fret of the E string, that is my note G, and I'm going to start the scale position with my middle finger on that note. So, I mean, you could keep extending that scale further. Okay, but we're going to just kind of cut it off at the D and then add one more note to the G string. So you can hear that's called the G major scale. Even if you don't know anything about music, your ear recognizes that. That's the famous do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And what we're going to do is we're going to assign a number to each one of these notes in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this last note, you could call it 8, but I'm also going to call it 1 because it's the same note as your starting note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then if I kept playing the scale, the next note here is a 2, right? It's a 2, but I'm actually going to call it a 9, all right? Because if you were to just add a number to all the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? While it's the same note as the 2nd degree in the scale, because it's in the next pitch register, we often refer to it as the 9th. So just to understand where these numbers are coming from that I'm going to use, it's what position in the scale the note falls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just this 8 I'm going to call 1, and this note, which could be 2, I'm going to call 9. So sorry if it's a little confusing. It's just the nature of the beast when it comes to this theory stuff. So the melody is going to sound like this within the context of the scale. So that's how you play the melody within the context of the scale. But I want to take it a step further, and I want you to try to sing the notes in terms of their scale degrees as you play the melody. So you do this really slow. You don't have to try to do it, up to the speed of how fast the theme is. Take your time, but really train your ear to hear the melody in terms of scale degrees. Now, I'm going to sing this. And, if you're not a singer, I sing, but I wouldn't, say that I'm a great singer. But even if you think you're tone deaf, don't worry so much about having your voice be perfect, because, your voice can probably be a little sharp or flat if you're not trained at singing, okay? As long as you can mentally hear the pitch and assign a value to it, that is the real exercise. And by the way, doing stuff like this will absolutely make you a better singer, because it creates a better filter in your ear, in your mind, of what things sound like. And so you have better precision. So doing things like this, while it also makes you a good guitar player, it's going to make you a better singer by extension. So looking at the melody and then looking at what scale degrees that melody is inside of the scale position, we have 1, 1. And for 7, I'm going to say the word sev. So I'm not going to say 7, I'm going to say sev. Sev 1, sev 5, 6, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1. Sev 1, 9, sev 6, 5, 6, 5, 3, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. That can be confusing, because if you're thinking of the frets you have to play, the scale degrees are obviously going to be different than the frets you have to play. So that could be, a point of confusion. Just take your time with it. So the value in doing it that way, again, like I said, it's training your ear, but because you understand that the melody notes are going to have the same emotional impact no matter where you do it on the guitar or what key you do it in. If you change the key, so you're in the key of G, but if I do it up here in the key of B, well, the scale pattern's the same, right? And then the melodic pattern would be the same. Right? Because it's 1 to the 1. So here's the pattern: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 1, 7, 1, 7, 5, 6, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. Right? It has the same formula, right? The same melodic formula. And so if you could train your ear to hear what those are and assign a value to them, your skills as a guitar player, as a singer, as an overall musician will go up drastically. So take your time with learning that, especially, you know, in the third level where you're doing a little bit of ear training and learning some scale shapes that you may not be familiar with. Don't expect to be able to do that right away, but take your time with it. And again, it's a valuable exercise. It really will train your ear and you'll hear music better and it'll make things a lot easier on the guitar. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time.